Hello, so we are finally getting the part 2 of the Bravely Default collab. Let's see what Ringabel and Gloria are all about. Ringabel is a third DPS, who is similarly to Pyro is very good at what he does, but it's also the only thing he does. He is a little better than on audio numbers wise, but that's it. It's also hard to get him down, I guess. Here are his skills. There isn't much interesting. Out of all those, what are the best ones? His 10 hit EX ability. The only requirement is to have him at full HP. It has only 2 uses, but it's more than likely that the enemy would be in shambles after that kind of attack, if you fully set it up of course. For cases when there are multiple targets, he also has a 7 hit AoE ult and also a regular 4 hit AoE. You have a skill for any situation with him really. Then his TP skill brings something new, the unthinkable status effect. Basically a multi-use hand tough. On top of it also BP recovery. Sounds cool and all, but if you know how to play audio, you know that it isn't that cool. Ringabel won't knock himself out with his own skills, and to avoid the enemy while he is low HP, you just need him to go last. The enormous amount of BP recovery is also something redundant, since he doesn't apply any buffs or debuffs, and to add insult to injury, audio would get a front row unthinkable buff too, so yeah, nothing to write home about as they say. Ringabel is really easy to use. Have him go last and give him regen, since he needs to spend his HP to use skills. If you need a warrior, you should have gotten audio in my opinion. Roll compression is important as that's what Ringabel lacks. Let's get to Gloria now. Gloria is a cleric and her main thing is her cool big sustainability. But she is also quite versatile and just makes it much easier for your team to survive even the worst blows. The only issue is that she doesn't have regen outside her ult, so you still need renew or an apothecary. Here are her skills. She can fill in a good number of blanks in your team. So her main skill, it lets you recover a lot of HP, SP and BP every 3 turns. And a lot, I mean 50% SP and 3 BP. Busted? For sure. Useful? Depends. An often mentioned use case is a lone battle, which you can finish quickly. Sure, I can imagine that. But we don't necessarily need to look at the skill as a whole, we can inspect the usefulness of the parts separately. HP recovery is situationally useful. You would probably be running someone who applies regen to your units, and the battle will play out like that. Enemy attacks, the restore heals, the regen works, and you get no max HP buff. However, during break when the enemy doesn't attack, you would get the buff, since there would be nothing to heal, so it's not as bad as it seems. The SP recovery is super cool, as it can relieve you of the need to use SP recovery accessories, and more free accessory slots means more damage. This also will help counter a boss which messes with your SP obviously, there are a couple in the game. And the BP recovery, do I need to say anything even? That's free BP on a break turn, that's free buff and debuff boosts, all around a nice boon. Of course, you may not need all the restores at all times, but it's a nice and convenient tool to have. About her other skills. She has various buffs and debuffs, mostly magic centered. She is great if you need someone to fill in and reach the buff or debuff cap. She also has an EX skill that gives 100% damage reduction. Sounds cool, but I think it's very situational. The mentioned unthinkable effect is better and you will have characters who apply it to the whole front row. And the mentioned max HP buff. It's a passive skill, so it doesn't really demand much from you. The restore skill should trigger it. Among other skills, there is the passive elemental attack and damage buff and an ult. It does a lot of things, but you would use it for the elemental attack buff. All in all, Gloria is kind of cool. Support units are always in demand, but to give for such a support unit 6000 rubies, it's a stingy price. Because once again, is a kind of cool character worth 6000 rubies? I think that's highly debatable. If you look further into the characters we would be getting in the future, you would find an apothecary Shana, which is a memory traveler. And if you look at her kit, you'd realize that she does a lot of things Gloria does, but maybe even better. For example, she has the front row unthinkable status, which is far better than a one-time 100% reduction. And she also gives SP stock, which is similar to an HP barrier, but it is an SP barrier basically. And that would cover all your SP troubles. So I don't think you should pull Gloria unless you really want to. Thanks for watching.